Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome to Pillars of Eternity. This is an RPG developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Paradox Interactive. It was released back in 2016, and I am very excited to finally be playing this game. I've heard so many good things. So many good things, not just about the game, but also the world it created, and I'm really eager to dip my toe into this universe. I'm excited to see what kind of adventure we're going to be going on here. Now, I believe we will be playing as someone known as the Watcher. This is an individual who can see into other people's souls, and also, I think, their past lives. Will the Watcher use their powers for good, or will they use them for evil? We're just going to have to jump into the game for ourselves and find out. But before I do that, I do just have a couple of very short notices I'd like to go over. First things first, this Let's Play is blind, so please be kind. Please don't post story spoilers in the comments section below. Now, just for the sake of transparency, I am familiar with the first, I want to say hour and a half, maybe, of the game. About 3, maybe 4 years ago, I did watch a live stream of Pillars of Eternity, so I have very strong memories of the opening of the game. I remember the caravan, escaping through the ruins, arriving in the first town. I'm trying to be non-spoilery here, so arriving in the first town, we're just gonna say that. I remember all of that. And then I have kind of, like, very brief, I don't even want to call them memories. Like, I know there's a big city, there's an old woman, I think she's important. At some point you go to a snowy place. I presume this is the snowy place, but I can't say why. I have no idea what was happening. I have no idea why it was happening. I have very strong memories of the opening of the game, and then after that, just kind of like brief flashes of like, oh yeah, there was a town. There was a town and there were people and things were occurring. So that is my experience with this game. Also, if you are looking for a Let's Play that is very combat-oriented, you know, a lot of min-maxing, focusing on coming up with powerful character builds, all of that, thank you for checking this Let's Play out. However, this is not going to be the Let's Play for you. I am focused purely on the story and the roleplay. I have created a character, she has a backstory, I will be playing as her, I will be agonizing over dialogue choices. I'm really not all that into combat. I am probably gonna suck at this combat. I make no secret of that. So if that's, you know, more so what you're looking for, a Let's Play that is very combat focused, thank you for checking this Let's Play out. However, it is not going to be the Let's Play for you. But if something more story-oriented does sound like something you'd be interested, then maybe consider sticking around. And with that, I think I've said everything I want to say. Let's get this started. Okay, I am going to be playing on normal, please. I noticed that it says it is not recommended for newcomers to real-time party-based RPG. So I have played RPGs in the past. I'm a big fan of them. I've never played an isometric RPG. However, I have played RPGs before, so I'm hoping that counts. So, yeah.
Five wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Okay, so whoever this other traveller was, we must remember to thank them. We must remember to thank them. Also, this is stunning. The artwork so far has been absolutely gorgeous. Okie doke, so as I said, I am all about the roleplay. I already have a character in mind. I will be reading out the descriptions, but only for the choices that I will be picking. The character I want to play is a woman. I only ever play women. Not gonna lie, I only ever play women. Female. A woman's role in Aura is largely dependent on where she is from. In the Adia Empire, Valian Republics, and the Deerwood, women occupy many domestic, educational, and organizational roles. They are the primary hunters, soldiers, and leaders of the tribes of Narsitark. In Glanfath and Ximena, women and men have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and women can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. Now, I believe, yeah, if the font is a different colour, you can hover over it and get some more information. And considering these are other countries, I definitely want that. I want more info here. Valian Republics. A mercantile power and former colony of a larger, more ancient nation, Old Valia, the republics lie to the south of Deerwood and Glanfath, and are ruled by a duke, elected by the Conswagali Asagia, I butchered that, I'm so sorry, a council of 14 dukes, including its 5 most prominent, the Duke's Bells. Deerwood. A colonial nation founded by settlers from the Adia Empire. Following a series of conflicts with Adia, the territory became independent in 2672 AI, and is now ruled by a duke, who is elected by 7 earls that oversee its earldoms. And Glanfath, a territory comprised of the forest southeast of the Bale River, populated indigenously by a group of loosely affiliated tribes, collectively known as Glanfathans, and governed by a council of its 6 most powerful tribes. Glanfath is home to a large number of ruined Engwithin sites, which Glanfathans hold sacred. The ruins have been at the centre of a number of large-scale conflicts with Deerwooden colonists, whose settlements often encroach on Glanfathan territory, and who frequently seek to plunder the ruins for their relics. Interesting. Okay, for race, we will be going godlike. The godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods, although some do not consider it a blessing. These aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder, and we get +1 dexterity, +1 intellect. And we will be going Moon Godlike. Moon Godlike are the most tolerated of the godlike. While their skin tone and a large moon-like growth on their forehead may be strange to some, their appearances are generally considered more palatable by the other Kith. Sailors have many beliefs about Moon Godlike and their propensity to bring luck, though there is little agreement as to what kind of luck they tend to bring. Silver Tide. Every encounter, when reduced below 75%, 50%, and 25% endurance, Moon Godlike generate waves of healing moonlight that restore endurance to them and their allies. This is going to come in handy. I can definitely tell this is going to come in handy. Now, as for body type, so as it said there, the godlike can be born from any of the civilized races. They're a bit like tieflings. You know, 2 humans get together, the baby comes out, oh, it's red and it's got demon horns and a tail. So the godlike can have a variety of body types. However, considering where my character is from, human makes the most sense. So that's what we're going with. And she is a rogue. I have a fondness for rogues. I love my little backstabby characters. Rogues are vicious killers, feared for the brutality of their attacks. They can be found as often in dark back alleys as the heart of battlefield skirmishes. Though unpredictable and undisciplined, rogues are commonly used as shock troops or as part of a surprise assault, their withering attacks breaking enemy ranks and morale. Rogues tend to congregate in larger numbers in cities, where they can be steadily employed as mercenaries or hired muscle. Starting ability, Sneak Attack, applies bonus damage to the rogue's ranged and melee weapon attacks when the target has any of the following afflictions: blinded, flanked, hobbled, paralysed, petrified, prone, stuck, stunned, or weakened. It also applies to any target the rogue strikes with a weapon within the first 2 seconds of combat. We get +1 stealth and +2 mechanics. Mechanics, it's traps and lockpicking. And here we have some numbers. I am going to ignore that. I don't fuck with numbers. That's not my jam. It's not my thing. So I'm just going to trust this. Now we could go with Crippling Strike or Blinding Strike. For this character, Blinding Strike. A dirty attack that makes the opponent unable to see, inflicts extra damage and blinds the target. Once per encounter, speed is average, and interrupt is 0.5 seconds average. Yeah, this character, she's not exactly a fighter. Yes, she's a rogue, but she's not... I don't think she's ever been on a battlefield. She is like back alleys, that kind of thing. So, a bit of pocket sand, throw it in someone's eyes, and she can scarp her. That is her strategy when it comes to fights. Now, I'm going to leave attributes and skip over to culture, because each culture provides a different attribute. I do like how the armor changes, depending on where they are from. Yes, this character is from Old Valia. Once the crown jewel of the Southern Seas, Old Valia is now the crumbled remnants of an empire of warring merchant nations. Counting many humans and dwarves among their ranks, the Old Valian countries are still forces to be reckoned with and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. We get +1 intellect. Now, as I said, this character, she's not exactly combat focused. She's not a stabby rogue, she's a talky rogue. And as such, she has below average constitution. Again, I know, you don't have to do that. As I said, I don't care about min-maxing. I really don't care about min-maxing, and I like my characters having some kind of a negative. I think this is interesting. She's not particularly hale and hearty. She's quite weak. And really, she's only above average in strength. She is somewhat quick. She is a rogue. She's not combat-oriented, but she is a rogue. She is deft. Where she comes into her own, however, are these traits: perception, intellect, and resolve. Her best one being perception. At 16, perception represents a character's senses, as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. In interactions, it can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about their appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. This character, she is a liar. She is a liar through and through, and I think it takes one to know one. She is good at lying, and as such, she is extremely good at saying, you're lying to me. You're lying to me because I'm lying to you. I know this. Her next best stat is resolve. At 15, resolve reflects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, she doesn't really do that, leadership, and convincing performances. As I said, she's a liar. She needs to lie well. She needs to be convincing with the tall tales she tells, and she is. She is extremely convincing. And lastly, intellect. Intellect represents a character's logic and reasoning capabilities. In interactions, it can be useful for deduction, sun realizations, and problem solving. Yeah, when you've got your mark there and you're spinning them a story, it's always good to be able to pick up on, they ain't believing me. They're not believing me. In about 2 seconds, they are gonna form a mob and they're gonna come running after me with pitchforks and torches. Where was that escape route I had planned out? Oh yeah, I remember it was on the east side of town. And as for her background, she is a drifter. You never quite fit in, no matter where you go. Each new town is just a place to rest briefly before moving on to the next. You are more comfortable on the road, travelling the world. +1 stealth, +1 mechanics. Now then, let's see, we have 2 portrait options for Moon Godlike. Now, this lady looks like a rogue, let's be honest. This is the face of someone who would stab you in the liver. However, that's not the vibes for this character. This portrait is, this is someone who, like, you would look at her and think, oh, butter wouldn't melt. Butter wouldn't melt. That is clearly someone very naive and innocent, and that's exactly what she wants you to think. She wants you to think that she is naive and innocent, and she genuinely needs help. If only someone would give me 10 gold pieces. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sucker. That, I think this fits my character perfectly. It is exactly what I am going for. Now, as for colours... I think I'm kind of drawn to purple and blue, because I think that goes very well with her skin tone. Yeah, that's what I want. And I want to say it's head number 4. Yeah, head number 4. There we go. Perfect. And her voice is this? Indeed. Now then, before we go on to her name, because I do believe that is what is popping up next, I think it's high time that I actually introduce you to this character. If you are not interested in hearing her backstory, a timestamp should be popping up in this bottom corner, right here. Just skip ahead to then and we'll be moving on. But for those of you who are interested, here is Ximena. She is 29 at the start of the game. Ximena was born to loving parents. Or was she born to a noble woman on the run from her controlling family? Maybe she was an orphan who never knew where she came from. Ximena has plenty of stories about her parents. All of them lies. But you're here for the truth. In reality, Ximena's parents were a pair of con artists. They pulled cons all over Old Valia, which is where Ximena was born. She wasn't their first child, but she was the only one they kept. A baby would be a burden. The few they'd had previously had all been dumped on church doorsteps, and that was a plan for Ximena, until she was born and they saw her blue skin and the moon-shaped growth on her head. Moon Godlike are a good omen. There are hundreds of sailors who would pay serious money for a lock of their hair to keep safe out at sea, or for a vial of their tears to cure illness. Of course, Moon Godlike hair doesn't really keep you safe, and their tears won't cure anything. But people are stupid, and Ximena's parents like to exploit that stupidity. And for that reason alone, they kept her. For the first few years of her life, they used her for small-scale cons, selling locks of her hair, claiming she was sick and they needed money for a doctor. But as she grew older, they began using her more directly. They taught her how to lie, and how to keep up those lies. They travelled all over Old Valia, claiming that Ximena could speak to the dead, that she had visions and she could bestow Andra's blessing. For a fee, of course. Her parents made a pretty penny off Ximena. With their daughter working alongside them, they made more in a couple of months than they made in a year before her birth. And Ximena knew that. They had raised an intelligent daughter, and that would ultimately be their downfall. The older Ximena got, the more she saw just how much her parents relied on her to make the cons work. And she saw only a fraction of the money she brought in. She realised that she could be making so much more if her parents weren't around. So, at 15, Ximena ran away. Using the skills her parents had taught her, she managed to get free passage on a ship heading to the Valian Republics. Her parents would have been proud if they weren't so angry that their meal ticket had left them. Her career as an independent con artist was a successful one. It was what she had been raised to do, and she enjoyed her work. She travelled around the Valian Republics for 14 years. She very rarely found herself in trouble. She was pretty picky about her marks, and she was good at running before anyone caught on to her. But her luck couldn't last forever. Recently, she conned a young merchant out of an absurd amount of money. Turned out the money wasn't his either. The merchant's stall was a front for a local crime lord, and the money belonged to him, and he would not tolerate Ximena's disrespect. After an attempt on her life, an attempt that Ximena only managed to escape by the skin of her teeth, she knew that she would have to leave the country. While hiding down at the docks, she overheard a couple of sailors talking about a ship that would be leaving port in a couple of hours. It was heading to the Deerwood. Apparently some lord was offering land and riches for foreign settlers. A few such settlers were on board. Ximena didn't care about settling some frontier town, but it was a quick escape, and that's exactly what she needed. She once again found herself blagging her way onto a ship, hoping that it would take her to safety. Ximena's current objective is to lay low, for a time. She has no interest in actually settling in some backwater town, but she wants to make sure that she wasn't followed from the Valian Republics. Once she thinks the coast is clear though, Ximena is heading to the nearest big city to start planning her next con. And there we go, that is Ximena. Yes, her name. There you are. And with that, everything is done. Let's go. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you are planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who would be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
He nods in your direction. Sparfel nods and slides the worn bow over his shoulder. Okay. Now, where would I find these berries? What are those ruins? Is it dangerous out here? What are these huge rocks coming out of the ground? And we can just go, of course we're going to go through them. Now, whilst I was researching this game, obviously, you know, when I'm making a character, I want to make sure she fits the world. So I looked up, you know, Old Valia, the Valian Republics, and I discovered that not only are they based off of Italy, characters from those regions tend to have accents. And as Ximena is from Old Valia, I'm going to try and give her an accent. It's like, I'm going to try and channel my inner Zevran Aranai. That's what I'm going for here. Okay. I can't promise that it will be a good accent, but an attempt is being made. An attempt. It's vaguely European, I think, in my opinion. Where would I find these berries?
They grow on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one. I
do appreciate that it makes the options you've already picked less bright. And what are those ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
Your character's attributes, skills, class, race, culture, and sex may all open up options for you in dialogue. These options are not necessarily superior to the other responses, but give you a wider variety of choices to select from. The manner in which someone responds to your choices depends on their individual personality and attitude. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't think they have these Engwithin ruins around Old Valia or the Valian Republics. Or at least from the map I saw. So the Valian Republics kind of border Irglanthath, but it sounded to me like most of the ruins were closer to the Deerwood. So yeah, this would be completely new for Ximena, I think. Who did build the ruins?
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Engwithins. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Is it dangerous out here?
Not if you hurry about your business.
Oh, no.
And not if the weather holds up.
There is concern in his tone, but he does not elaborate. What kind of weather do they get out here?
This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beawick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path. Never seen it myself, never cared to.
Yeah. Ximena's a drifter. She travels a lot. However, she definitely feels more at home in cities. She definitely feels more at home in cities. She's not a drifter because she likes the open road. She's a drifter because, like, I have to get there because I want to be in that city over yonder. So this, like, oh, dealing with the rain, that's a faff. Also, beerwicks, excuse me. Yeah, I think Ximena would be, she'd be cursing her luck that she got ill. What are these huge rocks coming out of the ground?
They don't got Audra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
I don't know if they have Audra in Old Valia or the Valian Republics. If they do, I'm gonna say, she's ill. Her eyesight probably isn't the best. Maybe her vision is blurry, all of that. She's just, what are these weird green rocks? I can't really see them. So that, if she should know what Audra is, like, that's my explanation. She's ill, her vision is blurry. I'll go see about those berries then.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travellers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armour-clad woman who has spent the journey's night sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kallisha. Kallisha!
The woman looks up on her own time. Are you not going to voice it? Oh, okay. She needs to find some springberries. Watch that she doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her, you're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayadin should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Okay, welcome to Pillars of Eternity. If this is your first visit to the world of Aora, you may want to watch these windows to become familiar with the tools and interfaces available to you. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to read all of them. I'm just quickly scanning them. Yeah, I know how to...
Yeah?
Yeah, it's what I'm thinking it should be. Oh dear. I'm trying to... There we go. Okay, click and drag. Click and drag. For moving the screen. Got it. Yep. And we'll just focus on our character. Oh, it's not an automatic follow. Okay. In which case, both of you together. Now, what do we have? Ooh, hello. These tall, glass-greened pillars appear as if they have sprouted from the earth. The flickering fire sets shadows dancing within. Ooh. Gorgeous description. We have no one with any names. Okay. Can we... I'm just, okay, scouting, camp. I'm like, can we...
Go on then, before it gets too dark.
Okay. Yeah, most people you encounter in the world are neutral or friendly. You can interact with them by clicking on their selection circle. Many characters will simply greet you and go on their way, but others will have larger conversations to explore. The merchant Heerden has a conversation that opens a store with equipment for sale. Thank you. However, I notice boxes.
I see where you're going with that. Give me a real challenge.
Yoink. Yeah, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. We're ill. We're ill. We need help. Don't mind me. Dear wooden clothing, some lock picks. Anything else? You're dressed rather fancy, but just a caravaneer. And, oh, excuse you. Excuse you. No.
Yeah?
I want you. Come over yonder.
Anyone need supplies? I've got sundries for sale.
In a minute. I might be stealing your stuff. Pardon me. Yoink. Also, hello. Hello. What was that? Giant miniature space piglet. This tiny titanic pig has an otherworldly appearance that seems to be at odds with its endearing behaviour. It follows you dutifully, and requires nothing in return save companionship. Who did you steal this from? Who did you also, Gorn's Pledge. Grant's Gorn's Pledge. I don't know what this is, though. Oh, plus 15 endurance. Okay. This item grants the ability to shield the warrior from the myriad perils that plague the world of Aora. An aspect of the god Eothis, Gorn represents the harvest of old age, symbolized here by many interlocking sickles that form the ring. As Gorn helps protect the dignity of old age, so too do his followers pledge to prevent young lives from being harvested before their time. Okay. So, before I have even gained control of you, you have nicked someone's ring, excellent work, and a piglet. Why did you steal this? Why have you done this? I presume this is some kind of like, oh, you got the enhanced edition, therefore you get these items. I like to imagine she stole them. I like to imagine she stole these items, so, let's have... Oh my god, the pig is here! Yes!
Mm-hmm.
Yes, little piglet, come along. Oh, hello there. Hello, do you have a name? We must think of a name. We absolutely must think of a name. No, yes, you were Heerden. You see a man wearing a simple but mostly neat clothes. He's transfixed, however, by a ragged tear in the seam of his tunic.
Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road.
He scratches one cheek with his knuckles. It's covered with uneven stubble, as if he hasn't quite gotten used to shaving on the road.
Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale, if you'd like to take a look.
Let's see what you've got. Who are you? I mean, she's been travelling with this caravan for a while, I think. You'd assume that she'd know who Heerden is. Maybe she's been keeping to herself. Yeah, she's stolen someone's ethereal piglet. Like, that's gonna... People are gonna notice that. So, yeah, she's probably been keeping to herself. Who are you?
I'm a trader, originally from the Adir Empire, but I've been trying to establish new business out here. Life on the road has brought some unexpected challenges, to be sure. And I'm sure you've noticed how prickly the locals can be. But we're here to make the most of things, right?
We might as well try. With an outlook like that, I'm sure you'll do well. Passionate. If you think these caravanners are prickly, watch out for those axe wielders Odema mentioned. Clever. How incredibly naive. I'm surprised you've lasted this long. Cruel. Okay, so this is... I think this is kind of determining our behavior. You know, is your character passionate? Are they clever? Are they cruel? I don't think Ximena is cruel. Yes, she's a con artist. She has definitely ruined lives. Like, Ximena is not necessarily a good person. I'm not going into this thinking, yes, Ximena is a lovely person. She just steals people's life savings. Like, she is not a good person. However, she does have empathy. To some degree, she does have a conscience. Like, if she learned, oh yeah, that person that you conned, and their life went to shit and they ended up taking their own life, she would feel guilty about that. And then she would con someone else the next day. Like, this is her life. This is who she is. I'm drawn to this. From what I understand, people from Old Valia, the kind of tenets of their country, they appreciate passion. They also appreciate wit. Also good fashion sense. That was something else I learned. They're really like, yo, you need to be fashionable. You need to look your best. This seems a bit too goody-goody. I don't think it fits Ximena, but this one, yeah, I think this fits. If you think these caravanners are prickly, watch out for those axe-wielders Odima mentioned. He laughs. That's excellent advice indeed. You now have one rank in a disposition reputation. These reputations represent how people perceive your personality throughout the world. Even seemingly nasty reputations will be favoured by some people, and benign reputations often bring out the worst in certain people. No disposition is inherently good or bad in Pillars of Eternity, but if your main character is a priest or paladin, you must be careful not to misalign their dispositions with what is favoured by their deity and order respectively. For the main character only, their dispositions will modify the effects of holy radiance for priests and faith and conviction for paladins. Okay. Interesting, but not necessarily it's not necessarily something we have to worry about because obviously we're playing a rogue.
Something else you need? Looks like we're settled for the night.
Yeah. I want to know more. I want to know more about this world. Tell me about the Aedir Empire.
It's not as big as it used to be, but it's still big. The mainland is a continent northwest of here, but the colonies used to include Raed Ceres and the Deerwood. About 150 years ago, Deerwood won its independence from the Empire, a fact our companions are quick to remind me of.
He gives you a lopsided grin and nods at the other scattered caravanners. Why'd you move all the way out here?
Because it seemed friendlier than Raed Ceres? My brothers took over the family mercantile business a few years ago, and there wasn't enough for me to do back home. I moved out to try and expand.
Fair play. He shrugs. Deerwood is a former Aedir colony, so it seemed like a good place to start. And as much as I admire the Red Ceres' work ethic, they've always struck me as a little fanatical. Sounds reasonable enough, that's high-minded of you. Seems like you got the short end of the stick. Ooh. Yeah, so he's out here because his brothers they did something first, and so he had to come out here. Yeah, seems like you got the short end of the stick. I don't see it that way. Heoden begins restacking the crates in his wagon. My brothers and I are all working together for the sake of the family enterprise. Let's see what you've got. Okay. I mean, for right now, I'm like, I'm fine with what we've got. Stores allow you to trade and sell your items for copper. Okay, so it's copper pieces in this world, not gold pieces, copper pieces. Yep, okay. Normal store stuff. So we could, considering we're a rogue, would it be better for us to have light armor or medium? I assume DR is probably damage resistance. I mean, we can stick with the mail armor for a little while, and if she's not doing her thing, then we can swap out for some light armor. Yeah, I'm good with this. Okay. Alrighty then. Now let's head on out.
Sure.
Everyone this way. Yes, I'm thinking, do we have... Okay, we do have a map. Thank you kindly. Let's be methodical. We'll go around. We'll go around in a clockwise manner. We've looted that. No regrets. No regrets whatsoever. I mean, they're the caravan supplies. Ximena is part of the caravan. Ooh, horses and... Ooh, hello. Orland's Cradle crafting supplies. Added to the stash. Don't mind if I do. Okay, and the road. The fallen tree doesn't budge. Sap oozes from the jagged
Not
wound.
looking forward to trying to lift that thing tomorrow.
Yeah, it oozes from the jagged wound in its trunk. Question: When you say jagged wound, do you mean like wounded, like it's fallen over in a storm, or do you mean like it's been cut? Because wound to me implies cut. Excuse me. Yep. The map will open as you explore more. Okay. Let's just go around with the pig. Oh, hello. Hello there. Sparful. Hello, this is the hunter.
I'll have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
Okay. Okay, fair play. You focus on the water. We'll focus on the berries. Okay, well, we've found the stream. Now, here's my thing. I fully admit, I like uncovering. Hello. You're right, friend. Yeah, I like uncovering maps. If there's a fog of war... Oh, hello. Well, that's not good. Travelers, maybe? Or looters? Or bandits? Bad sign any way you figure it. Yeah. Yeah, and here's the edge. Okay. The corpse is cold to the touch, and a ripe smell wafts from its putrid waves. Excuse me. A dark, encrusted bloodstain besmirches its simple linen clothing. Can we? Yes, I am taking. I am taking their shit. Ximena's not picky. Ximena's not picky. She'll steal from the dead. I mean, the dead don't need it. She's alive. She might as well take their stuff. Let's see what's across the bridge. Hello? Berries. Spring berries. Ooh. Yeah, use the tab key. Already doing that. Already doing that. The fact that we're being told to use the tab key, I'm like, clearly there must be something around here. Oh, hello?
This is recent. Not good.
Yet no. The footprints around the campfire are indistinct and may have been here for days or longer. Beer! Thank you! Don't mind if I do. And some mushrooms. Deer cap. Anything hidden back here? No, doesn't look like it. Let's just make our way up this side of the river. Okay, no. Dead end. Righty, yeah, then. Over we go. Back across, back towards where the caravan is. Safety in numbers. thinking we'll follow the river. We'll head over this way. Oh, hello. Burned lady. Lots of crafting materials. Lots of ingredients.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
Again, not good. Oh, hello. Auto paused. Enemy spotted. Young wolf. Okay. Okay, everyone.
What you need?
Everyone get him. You can do knockdown. Why not? Go for it.
Yeah?
And you blind him. Okay, Pillars of Eternity combat uses a pausable real-time system. Because you will often manage more than one character at a time, it is a good idea to pause the game, issue orders, and resume real-time to see the orders play out. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's go. One of your characters has been engaged in melee. When characters are engaged, they immediately stop moving. If they move again, this will provoke a disengagement attack from the enemy. Okay, so it's like in D&D. It's like in D&D. Got it. Whoa! Yeah, all characters in the game, friend or foe, have 4 primary defenses: deflection, fortitude, reflex, and will. Okay. Okay, got it. Got it. Seems very, very, common sense. Yet, DR is damage reduction. Okay. Yo, we got it. We beat the shit out of that wolf. Excellent. Yeah, when a party member takes damage, they will start to lose endurance and health. So if I understand this correctly, endurance and health, they're 2 separate stats. If you lose all of your endurance, you go down. You're knocked out, but you're not dead. If you lose all of your health, you are dead. Yeah, endurance, potions and spells can be used to restore endurance, but health can only be restored by resting. Got it. Now then, yoink. I'm taking this pelt. Thank you kindly.
Sure.
This is it.
Ah, okay. Excuse me. You're kind of a mystery to the rest of the caravan. Just some kind of wanderer, the way I hear it. That sort of thing tends to happen with orphans. Sure, I wander into the lives of fools, talk them out of their money, and wander back out. You have to be when people are looking for you. This isn't your business. Oh, both of these actually fit. Here's my concern. So I don't know how much of what I pick here is going to impact the rest of the game. A big part of Ximena's backstory is that she is a con artist. And so I worry if I don't pick this, then there won't be any other references. This could just be something for the beginning of the game to help you get more into the mind of your character. The other thing I'm thinking of is that old Valians, they don't particularly like bluntness. They enjoy, as I said, the dispositions that they approve of are being witty and being clever with your words. This is like, oh yeah, sure, I wander into the lives of fools, take the money, and then I wander back out. Like, that is extremely blunt. That is extremely blunt. Would an old Valian say that? At the same time, she is ill. She is ill. She's probably not feeling at her best. Does she really have the mental bandwidth to be coming up with some, witty repartee? And these people are strangers. These people are strangers. She's not planning on actually settling in this gilded veil. She's gonna leave as soon as she can. Like, who gives a shit what these people think? Yeah, I think being a con artist is more important to Ximena, and so just in case we get any more options to go into that in the future, I'm gonna pick this. Sure, I wander into the lives of fools, talk them out of their money, and wander back out. Yeah? How is it you happened to come here? Eventually they got wise and chased me out of town. I think I just got tired of cheating people. One of the fools turned out to be very dangerous and influential. This fits perfectly. I didn't actually check what the options were for, like, backstory. I was just like, what fits Drifter? She moves around a lot. This fits, like, I didn't actually, so this is extremely fortunate. One of the fools turned out to be very dangerous and influential. No offense, but you probably had that coming. They say the gods see that each man gets his due. Don't know if I believe that, but they do seem to have gotten the better of you. Callista breathes in her surroundings. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Radric's offer makes a girl think. I'll give him that. You here to settle like the rest of that lot? It's a hard offer to pass up. No, I'm just passing through. I hadn't given it much for that. No, I'm just passing through. That's usually the case with the big city, just a little ways further up the same road. Where you headed? Nowhere special, just putting as much time and distance between me and my old life as I possibly can. I'm going to continue on to the city, see where that takes me. I'll probably wander for a while, somewhere I can make some money. I have no idea where I'm going next year. Somewhere I can make some money. Ah, woman after my own heart. May your luck be better than mine. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Odema will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. There goes my timer. Excuse you, there we go. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Odema will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. Why are you here? Tell me about yourself. What can you tell me about Deerwood? All right, let's get back to camp. I mean, I was saying before, you know, Ximena is probably thinking, oh, who really cares about these people, blah, blah, blah. However, if the guy she pissed off in the Valian Republics has sent people after her, getting on these guys' good side would be wise. Also, she's a foreigner here. She doesn't know anything about this land. I think she would definitely be asking some questions. Why are you here? Callista sighs unevenly. Her eyes search the ground at her feet. My sister moved out here some time back. She sent me a letter. She seemed worried, but that's how she always is. This time, though, she asked me to come out, and that's got me a little worried. I haven't seen her in ages. Been doing guide works in Ximena. But I'd do anything for her. She's a much better woman than me. So I'm here, and we'll see. Odema I've worked with before. He doesn't usually drive a route this way, but he's doing it for me. Tell me about yourself. I've got simple needs. I like open skies and far horizons. I find work that lets me live that way. My family wanders too. We started in Deerwood, but my parents ended up in the Living Lands. I've got a brother in Rawatai and another in Adir. My sister in Gilded Vale. She's really the only homebody. What can you tell me about the Deerwood? I'm not much for history, but from what I know, it used to be part of the Adir Empire. Broke off after a war some years back. The locals here are feisty, and that's how they like it. I've been out of touch, but I've been hearing weird kind of things about it lately. People having trouble giving birth, I guess. A lot of them. Been going on for years now, but somehow it's getting worse. With an uneasy tremor in her voice, she adds, I'll have to ask my sister about it. All right, let's get back to camp. You know, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparfall's getting your water anytime soon. He does what he feels like, when he feels like it. We should check up on him first, slap him around a little. Stream's just down that way. Come on, let's get you your water. Thank you, Callista. Well, we shall do that in the next episode. So until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members such as SM2K. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.